The city was waking up slowly, the streets buzzing with early morning energy. People hurried to their jobs, coffee cups in hand, talking on phones, or lost in their thoughts. Among the tall buildings, the large glass tower of Bright Tech stood proud. Inside that building, hundreds of employees were preparing for another busy day. But today, something was different. At the top floor of the building, in a large, bright office, the real boss of Bright Tech sat quietly, looking out the window. His name was Mr. Harris, and he was a man who had built the company from a small start-up into one of the city's most successful firms. But lately, Mr. Harris had been feeling something was missing. He worried that he did not truly know the people who worked for him. He wanted to understand what his employees faced every day. I need to see the company from their eyes, he thought. Not from this office, but from the floor where the real work happens. So, Mr. Harris made a decision. He would go undercover. No fancy suits or shiny shoes. Just simple clothes, a cap to hide his face, and a new name, Tom. He would work among the employees and see who truly deserved his respect and recognition. Downstairs, the employees started to fill the office. Among them was a woman named Emma. She was small and quiet, with soft brown eyes and a gentle smile. Emma had worked at Bright Tech for 3 years. She was part of the customer service team, always helping clients solve their problems with kindness and patience. No one at the office knew much about Emma's life outside of work. She kept to herself and never talked about her troubles. But Emma carried a heavy heart. She was raising her younger brother, Max, all alone. Their parents had passed away a few years ago, and since then, Emma had become both sister and parent to Max. She worked hard to make sure he had everything he needed: food, clothes, and school supplies. Every morning, Emma left her small apartment early. She prepared breakfast for Max, kissed him goodbye, and then walked to the bus stop. The ride to Bright Tech was long and crowded, but Emma never complained. She thought about the future and hoped her hard work would one day bring better days. As she entered the office, Emma smiled at her co-workers, but few noticed her. They were busy talking about weekend plans or the latest office news. Emma felt invisible sometimes, like she was just another face in the crowd. But she didn't mind. She knew that her work mattered, even if no one said thank you. Meanwhile, Mr. Harris, now Tom, was blending in with the crowd. He wore a plain jacket and jeans. His face was partly hidden by a baseball cap. As he walked through the office, he listened carefully. He watched how people talked, how they worked, and how they treated each other. Tom was surprised. The office was not just about tasks and deadlines. It was about people helping people. He saw employees sharing their lunch, helping a stressed colleague, and even quietly comforting each other. But he also noticed problems. Some workers looked tired, some frustrated. There were moments when the work felt too hard, and the pressure too much. Tom's first task was to help in the customer service department. There, he was introduced to Emma by the team leader. "This is Tom," the leader said, "he's new today, so help him out." Emma smiled warmly and showed Tom his desk. "If you need anything, just ask," she said softly. Tom watched Emma carefully. She handled phone calls with a calm voice, even when the customers were upset. One customer was angry about a delayed delivery, but Emma listened carefully and promised to check the problem. Her voice never raised, she stayed patient. Tom thought, "This woman is strong. She hides so much pain but still cares so much about others." During the lunch break, Tom sat quietly while Emma chatted with a few co-workers. She laughed softly but didn't say much about herself. When one colleague asked about her weekend, Emma changed the subject quickly. Tom realized she was protecting her private life carefully. After lunch, a problem came in from a client. The delivery had been lost, and the client was worried about an important order. Emma took the call. She didn't blame anyone or get upset. Instead, she promised to fix the problem and asked her team to help. Together, they worked on finding a solution. Tom helped where he could, but mostly he watched Emma lead quietly. Her co-workers trusted her, and even when the day became difficult, Emma stayed calm and kind. She never gave up. When the office finally started to quiet down at the end of the day, Emma packed her things. Tom saw a tiredness in her eyes that wasn't there at the start of the day. But she smiled at him and said, "Thanks for your help today." Tom nodded. "You're amazing at what you do." Emma blushed a little and said, "I just want to do my best. That's all." As Emma left the office, Tom stayed behind for a moment. He looked around the busy room and thought about everything he had seen. Emma is the kind of person who doesn't ask for help but deserves it the most. Mr. Harris, under the name Tom, felt something change inside him. This was only the first day, but already he knew his journey had just begun. Tomorrow, he would learn more about Emma and others like her, people whose stories were hidden beneath the noise of daily work. Outside, the city lights began to glow as the sun set. Inside Bright Tech, a quiet hope was growing. A hope that one day, people like Emma would be recognized for their true value, not just as employees, but as the heart of the company. The morning sun peeked through the dusty windows of a small apartment on the edge of the city. Inside, Emma was already awake, moving quietly so she wouldn't wake her little brother, Max. She knew Max had a big day at school. He was nervous about a test, and Emma wanted him to feel ready and safe. Emma gently placed a bowl of cereal on the small table. She sat down beside Max, smiling softly. "You'll do great today," she said, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. Max looked up at her with big, trusting eyes and nodded. For Emma, moments like these were precious. They were a reminder of why she worked so hard every day. She was not just an employee at Bright Tech, she was a guardian for Max. She carried the weight of their world quietly, without complaint. After breakfast, Emma helped Max pack his school bag. The small apartment was tidy but simple. There were books on the shelf, some old toys, and a photo of their parents on the wall. Emma touched the frame lightly. The photo reminded her of everything they had lost, but also of the strength they had to keep moving forward. "Be good today," Emma said as she kissed Max on the forehead. He smiled shyly and ran out the door to catch the school bus. Emma watched him go, feeling a mix of pride and worry. She knew the world outside was not easy for them. The city was full of noise and rush, but at home, they had only each other. Emma worked long hours to pay the bills and make sure Max had a future. Sometimes, it was exhausting. Some days, she wanted to give up, but she never did. At Bright Tech, Emma kept her struggles hidden. No one knew about the nights she stayed awake, worried about money or Max's health. No one knew about the times she skipped lunch because she couldn't afford to eat twice in one day. Today, like every other day, Emma walked into the office with her head held high. She wore her usual smile, calm and kind. Her co-workers greeted her, but only a few really knew her. They admired her work but didn't know the story behind her quiet eyes. Emma sat at her desk and turned on her computer. Calls started coming in, one after another. She answered each one patiently, listening carefully, and helping solve problems. Some customers were angry or upset, but Emma never raised her voice. She knew they needed someone to understand, to care. During a break, Emma stepped outside the building to breathe fresh air. The city noise felt loud, but it also made her feel alive. She pulled out a small notebook from her bag. Inside were notes for a dream she kept secret, a plan to go back to school, to study business and one day become a manager. Emma believed in herself, even when life made it hard. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Max's school. A small smile crossed Emma's face as she read the words, Max did well on his test today. She typed back quickly, feeling a warm glow in her heart. This was why she worked so hard. For moments like this, for a better future. Back inside the office, Emma returned to her work with renewed energy. But the day was not without challenges. A new problem had come in, a shipment was delayed, and the client was worried. Emma took the call and promised to find a solution. She worked with the warehouse team and the delivery drivers, asking questions, following up, and never giving up. Tom, the undercover boss, watched her closely. He was amazed by her calm under pressure and her ability to lead without being asked. After the long day, Emma stayed late, typing emails and checking details. Tom offered to help, but Emma shook her head. "I have to finish this," she said softly. Tom wanted to say more, to tell her how much her hard work mattered, but he stayed quiet. Instead, he promised himself to learn more about her story. When Emma finally left the office, the city lights were bright and warm. She walked slowly to the bus stop, tired but hopeful. Tomorrow was another day, another chance to keep moving forward. As she sat on the bus, Emma looked out the window at the city that never slept. She thought about her parents, her brother, and her dreams. No matter how hard life was, she believed she could make it better. Tom, watching from a distance, knew he had found something rare, a person whose heart and courage could inspire others. But Emma didn't need to be a hero. She just needed someone to see her. And Mr. Harris was ready to do just that. The next morning, the bright tech office was filled with the usual sounds: keyboards tapping, phones ringing, and quiet conversations. Emma arrived early, as always, carrying her small lunchbox and a coffee cup. Her face was calm, but inside, she was already thinking about the tasks ahead. As Emma walked to her desk, she noticed someone new sitting nearby. It was Tom, the quiet man who had started yesterday. He looked a little nervous but eager to learn. Emma smiled gently and waved. "Good morning," she said. Tom smiled back. "Good morning, Emma. Ready for another busy day?" Emma laughed softly. "Always ready. It's never boring here." They worked side by side, answering calls and helping customers. Tom was still learning, and Emma was patient, explaining how things worked. She showed him the best way to handle difficult clients, how to listen carefully, and how to stay calm no matter what. During a short break, Emma noticed Tom seemed thoughtful. "Is everything okay?" she asked. Tom hesitated for a moment. "I'm just trying to understand this place," he said. "It's very different from what I expected." Emma nodded. "Most people only see the company from outside. They don't know what we face every day. It's not always easy, but we do our best." Tom looked at Emma with respect. "You do more than your best." Just then, the office door opened, and a new visitor came in. It was Mrs. Patel, the head of the company's operations team. She was known to be strict but fair. She walked straight to Emma's desk. "Emma," she said, her voice calm but serious. "I need your help with something important." Emma stood up, surprised. "Of course, Mrs. Patel. What do you need?" Mrs. Patel smiled slightly. "There's a problem with a major client's order. It needs to be fixed quickly. Can you come to the operations room with me?" Emma nodded and followed Mrs. Patel down the hall. Tom watched quietly, curious about what would happen next. In the operations room, several people were already gathered around a table covered with papers and computer screens. The mood was tense. Emma listened carefully as Mrs. Patel explained the issue: a delay in the delivery that could cause the client to lose trust in the company. Emma thought quickly. "We should contact the delivery team and find out exactly where the problem is. Then, we can update the client regularly, so they know we are working on it." Mrs. Patel nodded. "Good idea. Emma, can you lead this?" Emma was surprised but proud. Yes, I will do my best. Back at her desk, Emma immediately started making calls. She spoke with the warehouse, the drivers, and the logistics team. Her voice was calm but firm. She kept everyone focused on solving the problem. Tom watched as Emma took charge. She was not loud or bossy. Instead, she led with kindness and confidence. The team respected her, and they followed her instructions quickly. After a few hours, the problem was almost fixed. Emma sent a detailed update to the client and promised to keep them informed until the delivery was complete. When the office finally quieted down at the end of the day, Mrs. Patel approached Emma again. "You handled that very well," she said. "You have a real talent for leadership." Emma smiled shyly. "Thank you, Mrs. Patel. I just want to help." Mrs. Patel looked at Emma for a moment and then said quietly, "You should consider applying for a supervisor position when it opens." Emma's heart skipped a beat. She had always dreamed of moving up, but she never thought it could happen so soon. As Emma packed her bag to leave, Tom came over. "Emma, can I talk to you for a moment?" She nodded and followed him to a quiet corner. "I just wanted to say, you are amazing. I've seen many places, but the way you care for people here, it's special." Emma looked down, feeling a little embarrassed. "I'm just doing my job." Tom smiled. "No, you're doing more than that. You're making a difference." Emma's eyes filled with tears. No one had ever said that to her before. Just then, the office lights flickered, and a small group of employees gathered nearby. They were talking quietly about Emma and the way she handled the day's crisis. For the first time, Emma felt truly seen and appreciated. That evening, as Emma walked home, she thought about what Mrs. Patel had said. Could she really be a supervisor someday? Could her quiet strength lead others? She also thought about Tom, the new co-worker who seemed different. There was something kind and honest about him that made her feel hopeful. At home, Emma found Max waiting for her with a big smile. "Mom, I made a new friend today," he said. "His name is Sam." Emma laughed softly. "That's wonderful, Max. I'm happy for you." As they sat down for dinner, Emma felt a warmth in her heart. Life was still hard, but maybe, just maybe, things were starting to change. And somewhere in the bright tech building, Mr. Harris, still disguised as Tom, smiled to himself. He was beginning to understand the true value of people like Emma. Not just as employees, but as the heart and soul of the company. The morning sun cast a golden light through the windows of the bright tech office, making the busy workplace feel alive and hopeful. Emma arrived early, her steps steady, her heart quiet but determined. Today was going to be a long day, she knew, but she was ready. Tom, still working undercover, arrived just a few minutes after her. He greeted Emma with a small smile. "Ready for another day?" Emma smiled back, "Always." The day started like any other, with phones ringing and keyboards clicking. But this time, there was a heavy tension in the air. A big shipment was supposed to leave the warehouse by noon, but there was a problem. A technical glitch had stopped the whole process. Emma heard the news from her supervisor, and without hesitation, she stood up. "I'll help fix this," she said quietly. Tom watched as Emma moved with purpose. She didn't wait for orders or permission, she took action. She went to the operations room where a few employees were already working to find a solution. The problem was complicated, and frustration was building among the team. Some voices raised in worry, and some looked ready to give up. But Emma stayed calm. She spoke softly, "Let's not panic. We can solve this together." Her words brought a calm energy to the room. She asked questions, listened carefully, and helped others focus on the task. She didn't try to take control but guided the team gently, making sure everyone felt important. Tom helped where he could, but mostly he watched. He saw how Emma's kindness and determination pulled the team through the crisis. Hours passed, and the glitch was still not fixed. The shipment deadline was getting closer. Emma's eyes showed tiredness, but she did not stop. She kept working, calling the technical team, checking on progress, and reassuring worried co-workers. At one point, a young employee, nervous and overwhelmed, said, "I don't think we can do it. The deadline will be missed." Emma knelt beside her and said, "We won't know until we try. You're doing great. Don't give up." The young employee nodded, feeling stronger. Tom saw something special in Emma that day, not just a hard worker, but a true leader. She didn't need a title or power to inspire others. Her heart was her strength. Finally, just as the clock was about to hit noon, the technical glitch was fixed. The shipment was ready to leave. Cheers quietly filled the room. The team looked tired but happy. Emma smiled, feeling relief and pride. Tom stepped forward and said, "That was amazing, Emma. You kept everyone calm and focused when things were tough." Emma looked at him, surprised by the compliment. "I just did what needed to be done." But Tom shook his head. "It's more than that. You showed real leadership." After the crisis, the office slowly returned to normal. Emma packed her bag, ready to leave. Tom stopped her. "Can I walk you out?" Emma nodded, and they walked together through the busy city streets. As they walked, Emma spoke softly, "Sometimes, I wonder if all this work is worth it. If I can really make a difference." Tom looked at her with kindness. "You already have. You just don't see it yet." Emma smiled, feeling a little hope growing inside her. When they reached the bus stop, Emma said, "Thank you, Tom, for believing in me today." Tom smiled back. "Thank you, Emma, for showing me what real strength looks like." As Emma boarded the bus, she thought about her life, the hard days, the dreams she held close, and the small moments that made it all worthwhile. Meanwhile, Tom returned to his temporary apartment, his mind full of thoughts about Emma and the people like her who made the company what it was. That night, Emma sat at the small kitchen table in her apartment. Max was asleep in the next room, and the house was quiet. She looked at the notebook where she wrote her dreams and plans for the future. Today had been hard, but she felt stronger. Maybe, just maybe, her dreams were closer than she thought. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars. Inside, Emma's heart shone with a quiet light, a light of hope, courage, and the promise of new beginnings. Bright Tech's office was unusually quiet that morning. Everyone had gathered in the large conference room for a surprise meeting, called by the company's leadership. Emma sat near the back, feeling a mixture of curiosity and nervousness. She wondered what the meeting was about, but she tried to stay calm. Tom, the new employee who had been working undercover, was there too. He sat near Emma, looking a little more relaxed than before. For days, he had watched the company from the inside, and his respect for Emma had only grown. The heavy door at the front of the room opened, and a tall man stepped inside. His presence filled the room immediately. It was Mr. Harris, Bright Tech's CEO. The real boss, the man everyone had heard about but few had met. For a moment, the room was silent. Then, Mr. Harris smiled warmly and began to speak. "Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for your hard work and dedication to this company. Bright Tech wouldn't be where it is today without each one of you." He looked around, making eye contact with many employees. Then, he continued, "I've been working undercover in this company for the past few weeks. You might have noticed a new face, Tom." "That was me." The room gasped. Emma's eyes widened in surprise. She looked at Tom, who now stood without his cap and jacket, revealing the man she had come to respect over the past days. "I wanted to see the company from your perspective," Mr. Harris said. "To understand your struggles, your dreams, and your strengths. The employees listened, amazed by the story. Mr. Harris spoke about how much he had learned, how much he had seen people like Emma give their best every day. Then, he paused and smiled. There is one person I want to recognize today. Someone who has shown incredible dedication, kindness, and leadership. Someone who has made a real difference in this company. He looked directly at Emma. Emma's heart raced. She stood up slowly, unsure of what to expect. Mr. Harris continued, Emma, your hard work has not gone unnoticed. From handling difficult clients with patience to leading your team through challenges, you have been a shining example to us all. Emma's eyes filled with tears. She looked down, overwhelmed by the words she had never heard before. I want to promote you to team supervisor, effective immediately, Mr. Harris announced. The room erupted in applause. Emma's co-workers smiled, some standing to cheer. Emma was speechless. She never imagined this day would come. Mr. Harris stepped forward and shook her hand. You deserve this, Emma. Keep leading with your heart. Emma nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. She felt a rush of emotions: pride, gratitude, hope. Later, as the meeting ended, Emma found Tom standing nearby. Thank you, she said quietly. For everything. Tom smiled. No, thank you. You taught me what real leadership means. Emma walked back to her desk, feeling lighter than she had in years. She thought about Max, about the dreams she had written down in her notebook. Maybe now, those dreams were closer than ever. That night, Emma sat at the kitchen table in her small apartment. She held the letter from Mr. Harris, officially confirming her promotion. Max came in and hugged her tightly. Mom, I'm so proud of you, he said. Emma smiled through her tears. I'm proud of you too, Max. We did it together. As she looked out the window at the city lights, Emma felt a new chapter beginning, one filled with hope, strength, and the promise of better days. The morning light streamed through the windows of Bright Tech's office, filling the room with a soft glow. Emma sat at her new desk in the supervisor's area, her heart pounding with excitement and a little nervousness. Today was her first day as a team supervisor, and she wanted everything to go well. Her co-workers stopped by to congratulate her. Some brought small gifts or cards, while others simply smiled warmly. Emma felt grateful and a little overwhelmed. She never imagined this moment would come so quickly. Tom, who was still undercover as an employee, came over and smiled. You're going to do great, he said confidently. Emma nodded. I hope so. I want to be the kind of leader people can trust. Tom looked at her thoughtfully. You already are. Emma spent the morning meeting with her team. She listened carefully to their ideas and concerns, making notes and asking questions. She knew that being a good supervisor wasn't just about giving orders, it was about understanding people and helping them grow. Throughout the day, Emma faced many challenges. A few team members were frustrated with new policies, and one client had a complaint that needed quick attention. Emma stayed calm and patient, using the skills she had developed over the years. At lunchtime, Emma sat quietly in the break room, thinking about everything she had to do. The responsibility felt heavy, but she also felt proud. This was the chance she had worked so hard for. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Max's school. Max's art project won first place. Emma smiled brightly. That's my boy, she whispered. After lunch, Emma returned to the office energized. She called a short meeting with her team. I want us to work together, help each other, and be proud of what we do, she said. We are more than co-workers, we are a team. The team members nodded, inspired by her words. Later that afternoon, Emma received a call from the warehouse. There was a delay in a shipment, and the client was worried again. But this time, Emma didn't panic. She gathered her team, delegated tasks, and stayed in constant communication with the client. Tom watched her from a distance, impressed by how naturally she handled the pressure. Emma was not just a good worker, she was a born leader. At the end of the day, Emma walked home with a light heart. The city was alive with sounds and colors, but she felt calm inside. She thought about Max waiting for her, the small apartment they shared, and the future they were building. When Emma opened the door, Max ran to her, holding a small drawing. "Look, Mom. This is us," he said proudly. Emma looked at the picture, a simple drawing of a woman and a boy holding hands under a bright sun. Her heart melted. "You're my inspiration, Max," Emma said softly, hugging him tightly. That night, as Emma lay in bed, she thought about the journey ahead. Being a supervisor was not easy, but she was ready. She knew there would be hard days, but also moments of joy and success. She reached for her notebook, the one where she kept her dreams and plans. She wrote a new goal: help my team succeed. Learn more. Make Bright Tech a better place for everyone. As she closed her eyes, Emma felt a quiet confidence growing inside her. The road was long, but she was no longer walking it alone. Somewhere in the company, Mr. Harris smiled as he watched the changes unfolding. Emma's story was not just about a promotion, it was about hope, courage, and the power of believing in oneself. And for Emma, this was just the beginning. Days turned into weeks, and Emma settled into her new role as team supervisor at Bright Tech. The office, once just a place of work, had become a place of growth, friendship, and hope. Emma's quiet strength and kindness inspired those around her, and slowly, the team began to work more smoothly and happily. But the real test was yet to come. One afternoon, the phone rang in Emma's office. It was a call from a very important client. The company was facing a major challenge. A large order had to be delivered within 24 hours, but a sudden problem with the warehouse system put everything at risk. Emma listened carefully and felt a familiar weight on her shoulders. This was not just a simple problem, it could affect the reputation of the whole company. She took a deep breath and stood up. "We can do this," she said firmly to her team when she gathered them. "It will be hard, but together, we will find a way." Her team looked at her with trust and determination. Emma worked late into the night. She coordinated with the warehouse, the delivery team, and customer service. She stayed calm when others felt worried. She reminded everyone that they were stronger together. Tom, still undercover as an employee, stayed by her side, offering support and ideas. But Emma led with confidence, making sure every part of the plan was clear and everyone knew their role. At one point, a power outage threatened to stop the work. The warehouse computers went dark, and panic started to spread. Emma didn't hesitate. She quickly found a way to communicate using phones and radios, keeping everyone connected. Her calmness was like a light in the dark. The hours passed, and the team worked tirelessly. Finally, just minutes before the deadline, the last shipment was loaded onto the trucks. Emma let out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. The client called later that night. "Thank you, Emma," they said. "You saved us. Your team did an incredible job." Emma smiled, feeling a wave of pride and relief. She thought of Max, waiting for her at home, and the small apartment that held their dreams. The next day, the office was buzzing with energy. The successful delivery was celebrated quietly but joyfully. Mr. Harris appeared in Emma's office, now no longer undercover. "Emma," he said warmly, "you have proven that true leadership comes from the heart. You have made this company better, not just with your skills, but with your kindness and courage." Emma looked at him, feeling grateful and a little shy. "Thank you, sir. I couldn't have done it without my team." Mr. Harris nodded. "That's exactly what I wanted to see." Weeks later, Emma stood in front of her team during a small meeting. She smiled as she spoke. We faced challenges, but we overcame them together. This is just the beginning for us. Her team cheered softly, their faces bright with hope. Back at home, Emma hugged Max tightly. We did it, Max. This is our new beginning. Max smiled and whispered, I'm proud of you, Mom. Emma's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of joy. She had come a long way from a quiet employee with hidden struggles to a leader who inspired others every day. And through it all, she never forgot why she worked so hard: the love for her little brother, the dreams they shared, and the belief that anyone can change their story with courage and heart. The city lights outside her window shone like stars, reminding Emma that even in the darkest nights, hope could always shine bright. Her journey was far from over, but she was ready for whatever came next. Because now, Emma knew she was strong enough to face the future and to help others find their strength too.